and touchdown. Then you had Matt McGloin come in for almost the rest of the game. He had 28 completions out of 42 attempts, 205 yards, and an interception. Tight end Bryce Teggs had 7 receptions for 91 yards. Wide receiver Matt Collins showed a little bit of burst there. He had 4 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. And then their first round DN that they got in the draft this year, Derek Barnett, had 2 sacks, and I was really wondering why they picked him so early, but he showed out in his first game, so I can't say anything bad about that pick. And then on the Packers side, you got Taysom Hill that went 4 or 5, 69 yards and a touchdown. You got D'Angelo Yancey that had 3 catches, 67 yards. Cornerback Kevin King had 4 tackles, and then defensive back Marvin Evans had 6 total tackles and a pick.
So we had some good stats there from a lot of young players and a couple who are trying to make these teams. I'm sure we're going to hear more of these guys coming in the following weeks. All right, Brian, next we're going to take a look at the Cleveland Browns taking on the New Orleans Saints. And as most of us know, the Browns have been in a rebuilding phase, and it looks like it will most likely remain that way this year. However, they have made very good progress. They also, in my opinion, have the best quarterback competition in the league, including Notre Dame rookie Deshaun Kaiser. The Saints are also another team who will have to come up to a few answers for their fans this year with the loss of wideout and Brandon Cooks, and then the addition of Adrian Peterson. More of that to come this week during our AFC and NFC early predictions. But Brian, I want to start with the Browns here. They won the game 20-14. What did you see here?
All right. Well, number 1 overall pick, Myles Garrett. Expecting a lot from him. He only gave us 1 tackle, but he had a few pass rushes, got to the quarterback, and made a little bit of noise, but he only had 1 tackle in this game. Jordan Payton had a nice catch for 45 yards and touchdown. And like you said, Deshaun Kaiser, 11 of 18, 184 yards, a touchdown, 3 rushes for 12 yards. He looked pretty good.
Now, Brian, has there been any progress on this quarterback competition, especially what Kaiser's done? Is anyone breaking away from this field?
I haven't heard anything about making more decisions on what's going on. I think as the preseason goes on, you'll see Kaiser getting more reps with the number 1s in practices, and then Osweiler will try to hang on to this job, but Kaiser's pushing him, and I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on to it.
So as of right now, you would say it's definitely Osweiler's to lose?
Yes.
All right. And how did those Saints look?
They had a couple good quarterback outings from their backups. Garrett Grayson had 11 completions out of 16 for 126 yards. Syracuse's Ryan Nassib had 10 completions out of 14 for 110 yards and a touchdown. Then they had tight end Tommy Lee Lewis had 10 receptions for 124 yards and a touchdown. And then undrafted free agent rookie Mitchell Lowen had 1.5 sacks in the game.
That's an impressive outing by Lewis for a preseason game. 10 receptions, 124 yards. That's impressive. Okay, another rookie quarterback makes his debut this week, and he has some big expectations to fill, probably bigger than anyone else that got drafted this year. Rookie Mitchell Trubisky of the Chicago Bears, just because of what they traded to draft this player, is the person I'm talking about. And the Bears, they drop a close one to the Denver Broncos. Brian, what did you see in the Bears and the Broncos today?
All right. Yeah, out of Denver, you didn't see really too much that's surprising. They had an undrafted rookie free agent, Kyle Stoddard, that went 5 of 6 for 94 yards and a touchdown. D'Angelo Henderson had 7 rushes for 54 yards and a touchdown. And then you got the Chicago Bears, Mike Glennon, who went 2 of 8 for 20 yards and a pick 6. That's not a way to hold on to a starting job. Then Mitchell Trubisky came right behind him, went 18 of 25, 166 yards and a touchdown.
Brian, do you see Trubinsky starting the season as the Bears quarterback?
I do not see him starting week 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if they look to start playing him after their bye.
All right. Okay, so we're going to see, I guess, a quarterback by committee here, and Trubinsky going to take the reins. All right, that's another bold prediction we have here at Benchcasters. All right, next we're going to head into Foxborough, where the New England Patriots lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, if only this was the regular season, 31 other teams and their fans would be ecstatic, but it's only the preseason. So let's take us through the key contributors in this game, Brian.
All right, let's talk about the Jags. They beat the Patriots. It's only going to happen once this year, so let's go ahead and look in Jaguars stats. Chad Henne went 5 of 6, 139 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Allen went 5 for 7, 85 yards and a touchdown. And then their starting quarterback, Blake Bortles, went 3 of 5 for 16 yards. So Blake Bortles better wake up or he's going to lose that job. Corey Grant had 8 rushes for 120 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, first-round pick Leonard Fournette ran 9 times for only 31 yards and a touchdown. NFL is really slow for him, huh? Keelan Cole, 2 receptions, 108 yards and a touchdown. Dede Westbrook had a 42-yard touchdown grab. Linebackers Blair Brown and Miles Jack had 8 tackles and 6 tackles among them.
Miles Jack, just like Reggie Ragland of the Bills, it's really nice to see him out there. And it is really funny about Fournette and what he's got in his rushing. If most people don't know what that little inside joke was about, Fournette did say this week that the NFL is very easy to him. Most people are claiming that with the transition between him, because he was a SEC college player transitioning to NFL, the same type of pace. And then, Brian, was there anything good out of the Patriots side?
Yeah, there was a undrafted free agent wide receiver, Cody Hollister, had 7 receptions for 116 yards. And then Jimmy Garoppolo upped his value and went 22 of 28 for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's very impressive. There will be an article out later on tonight on BenchCasters.com, and it does claim that Jimmy Garoppolo is my Week 1 MVP with that stats. It's amazing, and it's a little frustrating that he could be the predecessor of Tom Brady. All right, Brian, the Jaguars, they really have no place to go but up, and they have a lot of young guys with a lot of potential. Is this a team that can be battling for that AFC North title?
I would love to say yes, but no.
And I agree with you. We're going to get a lot more into that with the Jacksonville Jaguars and all 32 NFL teams as we break down our predictions later this week here on Benchcasters. Continuing with another AFC East team, the Miami Dolphins, who you know are dealing with some major injuries, took on the defending NFC champions Atlanta Falcons. The Dolphins squeezed in a victory here, winning 23-20. Brian, who stuck out to you the most in this one?
All right. Atlanta had one player that stuck out. Matt Sims, recently with the New York Jets, had 10 completions out of 20 attempts for 105 yards, 3 rushes for 24 yards. Not a bad outing for the third-string quarterback. And then Miami's David Fales went 8 of 17, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. DeMaurier Stringfellow had 2 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown. And then cornerback Cordea Tankersley had 5 tackles.
I don't know if I'm more impressed by their stats or by the fact that you pronounce their names right. I wouldn't even have attempted. That's impressive. I'm impressed. All right. We're gonna take you down to Carolina, where the Panthers take on the Houston Texans. The Panthers, who won 27-17, but we saw some play from some of the top rookies in this game, Brian, including Texans rookie quarterback Deshaun Watson and Panthers rookie running back Christian McCaffrey. How did they pan out?
All right. Carolina's Christian McCaffrey ran 7 times for 33 yards. He had 1 catch, but he didn't gain any yards on it. Kelvin Benjamin had 2 grabs for 40 yards and a touchdown. Demary Bird had 4 receptions for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. Derek Anderson went 4-5 for 76 yards and a touchdown. And then Joe Webb had 7 completions out of 14 attempts for 128 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Then on Houston's side, Deshaun Watson went 15 of 25 for 179 yards, 3 rushes for 24 yards and a touchdown. And then one of my surprise players, Deontay Foreman, had 9 rushes for 76 yards. Look out for him in the rookie battle for Offensive Player of the Year.
Ooh, all right. And as you said it a little bit earlier at Carolina, Kelvin Benjamin, I don't know if many people remember him, but he had a season-ending injury last year. Correct? Last year? Or was that the year before?
No, 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So he's still on that upcline there. Both these teams are looking to be fun to talk about this week, either way, on these prediction episodes. So much potential to talk about. Wouldn't you agree, Brian?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. Making our way down the stretch here, we're going to take you into Baltimore, where the Ravens beat the Washington Redskins 23-3. Brian, what did you like here in this one?
All right. I didn't see much from Washington at all, to be honest. Undrafted free agent defensive back Josh Harvey Hamilton had 6 total tackles. That's all I can really say about Washington.
All right.
Baltimore Ravens, Brent Urban, 4 tackles for a sack and 2 fumbles forced. And then you have Ryan Mallett, who's the projected backup to Joe Flacco and possibly the starter if Flacco's not back in time. Went 9 of 18 for 58 yards. Meanwhile, arena football star Josh Woodrum went 4 of 4 for 85 yards and a touchdown. I'd say watch out, Ryan Mallett.
Well, that's the key, too. Is Josh Woodrum going to actually be awake? Is he actually going to make it on time? Because you can't predict that Mallett will. It's good to see that Mallett woke up for this one in time, though. All right.
That's right.
Yeah. So another thing we'll be chasing here on Benchcasters is the Baltimore quarterback situation with Flacco being down. And they also did just sign Tad Lewis today as well. We'll talk more into that. Tad Lewis hasn't thrown a football in the NFL in 4 years. All right. And last but certainly not least, we're going to take you to L.A. where the Chargers got crushed by the Seattle Seahawks 48-17. Yep. Brian, I saved this Seahawks one for you for the end. Phillip Rivers, though, looked good on his few plays, hooking up with Antonio Gates for a touchdown. But mostly after this whole game was Seattle's defense and explosive offense led by backup quarterback Trevon Boykins. Brian, what do you got?
All right. This is the type of game that I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing for Seattle. I don't know if Chargers defense and offense was just that awful or if Seattle actually showed out. I watched the game from start to finish, and what I seen for the Chargers was horrible play from their backup quarterbacks. Kellen Clemens went 4-10 for 100 yards, 2 interceptions, and lost a fumble. Cardell Jones went 2-9 for 50 yards and 2 rushes for 19. I didn't like the way either of them played. Nigel Harris did have 9 total tackles, and cornerback Desmond King from Iowa had 3 total tackles, a fumble forced, and an interception. Then you go to Seattle's side, and like you said, Trevon Boykin balled out. He went 12 of 15 for 189 yards, a touchdown. He did throw a pick, but he ran 3 times for 31 yards and a touchdown. Chris Carson had 7 rushes for 19 yards, but he's a short yardage back. He pounded 2 in for touchdowns. And then Kason Williams had 4 receptions for 119 yards. Christian French had a sack and 2 fumble recoveries. Thank you, Kellen Clemens. And then Terrence Garvin had a tackle and a pick 6.
So, all in all, you're still not sure that this is a good thing for Seattle. How will you be how will you know for certain that this was a good thing? The same kind of